everybody, and welcome to another Sketchcraft Copic Marker tutorial. Speedpaint Thingamadoo. I'm Rob D. Let me walk you through my basic process here. Here I'm going to be coloring up Clank. He's a video game character from Ratchet & Clank games. Did this as a commission. So basically, I like to start off with a warm 1 and a warm 3 gray marker. I'll use the warm gray 1 on the interior of the body. It adds a lot of extra life and stuff like that. Even though he's a little robot, I want to make sure he feels alive. I prefer to go with natural coloring styles, things that appear natural as opposed to, say, graphic or realistic, if that makes a sense. The outside of him is with the W3. I use the W3 because it's a white piece of paper, and anytime you put a color, I don't care how bright it is, on white, being that white is the brightest value there is, the color will always appear darker than it needs to be. So by just outlining the character really quick with a little neutral W3, I'm able to make the colors appear as bright as they actually are. So with Clank, even though he's all metal, I wanted to give a lot of little inflections in life to him. So I'm using a little purple, a little blue, and a little pink to kind of swash through his color schemes. That's a BOO, ROO, and a BVOO. I start with very light colors and work down into darks. It's very similar to how I would paint with watercolor. And then when I go to the actual basic metal swash, once I let that dry, I use this putty color, which is a YG91. Putty's really, really cool. It's got a nice yellowish, greenish, kind of rusty feel to it. And then there's just a lot of little transparencies. Again, when you know, in life, things aren't really 100% black or 100% white. They have a lot of layers of transparency, atmosphere. There's things underneath and or layered underneath other things, even in shadows. Shadows aren't 100% anything. So I apply that basics technique to my coloring process. So you'll see me add a C7 or a C8 in the darkest areas, but then I'll go back over it as well with you know, the purples or the pinks, just to continue to offset that color so it's not 100% black. The lines are pretty much black, so that's where I allow the graphic art to maintain in the piece. His eyes are a combination of a very, very light yellow and a lime green color. I don't have the color codes with me, but you know, again, like I say, just experiment with almost every color you can get with the Copic markers. Again, starting with the lightest colors and then systematically working your way down to more saturated or stronger value. Around the 4-minute mark, I will start to add white calligraphy ink to the piece. I use that to help accentuate the line art that I put into the art. I use the white calligraphy ink instead of acrylic or gouache because it's an ink, it stays dry, and it just kind of rolls right off the brush. It's really nice. Saves me a lot of time. Plus, I don't have to worry about the paper warping. If I were using acrylic or gouache, it would probably warp the paper. So, and I'll use a liner brush for that. And then when I get done with the white calligraphy ink, I'll re-outline the character and strengthen up some of the line work, again with some Copics. The thicker ones, usually a 1.0 or a 5.0. And then, you know, maybe a 0.05 for the interior stuff. So again, if you just sort of look at the process, it's just a lot of like letting it dry for a couple minutes, seeing how the markers sort of react. They'll always start off one way, and if you give them 3 or 4 minutes to dry, they'll come out another. And if you allow it to dry, you're going to be able to layer, you know, different effects and streaks, so you can create volume and shape and roundness to your two-dimensional art that actually isn't there. Let's see, is there anything else I can think of? Again, Clank's pretty simple. It's all metal. I was just really trying to make certain that there was a lot of inflection in the metal, as opposed to it just being, like, say, all gray markers, right? Warm or cool grays. And I was very happy that it came out the way it did. I'm very comfortable with that liner brush. I've done this maybe 100 times now. It's a very long tip brush. The very end of it can get almost razor-like, like rapidograph style in terms of its sharpness, and then it can go really thick, which is nice. The paper that I'm using is B marker paper. I use B marker paper when I do this, and I'll generally do the line art separately and print it out, so I'm not smudging up any of the colors with ink or graphite or anything else that I use to draw the piece. Lastly, if you have any questions, please email me at rob@sketchcraft. That's sketch, C-R-A-F-T, the name of the podcast.com. Thank you, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.